Hello, everybody, and welcome to Random SEC. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. You can unsubscribe whenever you want if you don't like my content, but please consider doing so and like and comment as well. It would really help me out a lot, and we're doing great on all social medias. But YouTube, we really need your help. Back to the video. Starting with Tennessee, who today made a huge splash, the first splash of the transfer portal. And like I said, he is a grad transfer. It is Tyler Lundblade, committing to Tennessee. He's a point guard, come from Belmont. And if we know one thing about Rick Barnes, it is that in these past 3 or 4 years, he has gotten elite guards in the portal. Just this last year, we had Jacoby Gillespie. The year before that, Chance Lanier. And the year before that, Dalton Connect. So he knows what he's doing when he's going into the portal, dipping his, fingers in there and getting a guard. And it's really just been his go-to, and it's really elevated this Tennessee team, this Tennessee basketball program to another level, because I don't want to say they're necessarily causations, but before them, Tennessee was, Rick Barnes was kind of a narrative of, Rick Barnes can't coach in March. But since then, back-to-back Elite Eights. So it's definitely doing something. And I don't know if Tyler Lundblade will be that kind of guy, because I feel like, Rick Barnes will go out for some more. But it's kind of Dalton Connect reminiscent, because Dalton Connect wasn't out of a big school, and neither is Lundblade. I mean, Belmont was good, but it's definitely not the biggest top target, obviously. Group of 5 to power 4 type thing, and I think it's a good get. I haven't seen too much about him, just watched some highlights today. He's a redshirt senior, entered the portal early, March 16th, as a graduate transfer. Tennessee hosted him early after their NCAA tournament loss to Michigan in the Elite Eight on March 29th. And I think this is cool for Rick Barnes. He's getting up there in age, and he really has not lost his flame. And in fact, I feel like these past few years, he has gained it back. I mean, who, days after getting demoralized in the Elite Eight to Michigan, comes back fiery and hosts a guy on campus and gets him to commit within a week, especially in your 80s or whatever Rick Barnes is. That's just unheard of. I'm telling you, man, I think Tennessee's going all in this offseason. And this is the first, big splash move that they've made. They don't have any high school recruits, really, like Nate Ament last year, but I do think that he's going to go all into the portal. I've heard rumors of, maybe upping the spending in basketball for Tennessee. So very interesting things, but more on Tyler Lundblade. 6'5", 195 point guard from Dallas, fills a dire scoring need for Tennessee. He averages 15.6 points for Belmont and is an elite shooter in the 2024-2025 season. He made 48% of his three-pointers. That consistency carried into 2025 through 2026, where he made 40.6 on an increased volume. He started his career at SMU, went to TCU, went to Belmont, and he's now landing at Tennessee. Lundblade led the Bruins to a 26-6 record and the top spot in the Missouri Valley Conference this season. Belmont flopped in the MVC quarterfinals March 6 against Drake, 100-79. Lundblade began his college career at SMU, like I said, redshirted as a freshman, then transferred to TCU and appeared in just 15 total games across 2 seasons. He went to Belmont in 2024 and started every game this season. He has been their go-to guy. He's been the X factor, and like I said, at Belmont, they were the number 1 team in their conference, and it did not go their way in the conference tournament, which is how it works, and that's just how it crumbles here with mid-majors. But he's a very key factor for Tennessee, and I think three-point shooting is going to have to be his specialty, athletic, but not too athletic, especially with the SEC and the talent that is circulating through the SEC right now. Tennessee, the team that made it the farthest in the SEC this past year in March Madness. So I feel like, expectations will be a little high this year. I feel like people thought this year was a down year, and it kind of felt like it was. But then in the tournament, they turned it on. And I think that kind of, it breeds expectations, and I think Tennessee fans are ready for a Rick Barnes Final Four, a Tennessee Final Four, their first ever. And I think Rick Barnes is hungry for it too. So don't be surprised if they go all in on the portal. I've heard rumors of Somto Cyril, although I'll get to him later. Transfer from Georgia. I think he is, more top target on a couple other schools lists, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee, dips their hand in that too, and maybe throws some money at Somto Cyril. It's a little too early to tell all the transfer targets. Subscribe if you want to stay updated, get some videos about that, because they will be coming in the future. But not too many people have entered the portal yet or plan to intend to enter the portal because it's not technically open. But that being said, I do expect big things from Tennessee. Tyler Lumblade, very, very good get. Very good way to start off this SEC transfer portal season. And that's really all I got about that topic.